There is something about handheld gaming that feels different, not better in any way or worse, but just different. After spending almost 1 year playing on my PSP more than I played on PC, I wanted to explore more systems. I wanted to play the PS2 games era, to understand why Nintendo was the king back in the day. So I wanted to get a new modern handheld, and even though I wanted to get a Steam Deck, the prices got ridiculously high because of the RAM and storage crisis, so I ended up with Retroid Pocket 5. And after playing it for around 1 month, I started to understand why the games feel much different than on a PC or a console. It just feels more natural. And I didn't notice it immediately. At first, I thought it was just a convenience. Like I can play it anywhere, I can pick it up anytime. But after a few days, I noticed something small. I wasn't rushing through games anymore. I was just continuing the same one. And it felt unusual because usually when I play on PC, I tend to switch between games. But here, I didn't actually feel the urge to switch between games. I just stood with the one that I started with. The first thing I noticed is how focused handheld gaming feels. You know, when you play on a computer or a console, there is always something around you. A second monitor, maybe a notification. So it's much easier to switch between things. But with a handheld that's designed to play the games, you just turn it on and play. There is nothing else competing for your attention. Another thing is the physical side of it. Holding a device in your hand close to you, it creates a different kind of connection. It feels more personal. It feels like you're actively engaging with it, not just consuming it. Just like reading a good book. Even the imperfection, like the small screen or maybe the low performance in some games, it made it feel more intentional. Another thing that I noticed is how quickly I got in the game. Usually on PC, it just takes a bit until you're into the game, turning on the computer, launching Steam, waiting for it to load the game, maybe you adjust something, but on handheld, it's much faster. You just press up one button and boom, you're in the game. That of course if you made the right tweaks at the start. And surprisingly, by doing this, I started to game more. Not longer sessions, but more frequent ones. And there's the simplicity. The handheld games, especially the older ones, don't try to do everything at once. They have a loop. You pick it up, you play, and you stop. And although devices like the Retroid Pocket 5 are really interesting because you gain access to many games on many different systems. And sometimes having too many games might lead you to decide what you want to play more than actually playing the game. This is called the choice paralysis. And actually I was experiencing this a lot in the first few days. Like I would just scroll through my library on Retroid, see all these games that I've been wanting to play, and instead of just getting excited, I just hesitate. Like, what do I even start with? And sometimes I end up not playing anything, which is kind of ironic. You have access to so much and yet you play less. So usually what I do is limit what I play. I keep one main game, one main long game to play when I have more free time, like 1 hour or more, and keep some smaller games like Metroid on SNES or Double Dragon, Contra on NES to play when I have like a small break of 10-15 minutes. And by doing this way, you basically escape from this choice paralysis because you don't have any choices. You have your game in your mind, your main game in your mind. You're gonna play that. You're not gonna play anything else. If you want something, you have to choose something shorter for shorter periods of time. And by this, basically you tend to enjoy more your game than actually thinking, oh my god, I played this, but I also have to finish that, and here comes the backlog. So by doing this, it's a simpler way of finishing more games actually and enjoy it more. And what surprised me is how attached I got to these games, even to something simple like a quick run on Contra or a few minutes on Metroid. Started to feel like a routine, not something big, just something I'd come back to. And I think that's something I was missing before, the feeling of slowly progressing into the game and not rushing it. And I also think the handheld gaming fits much better in an adult life than a PC. You don't need a setup, you don't need long sessions, you can just play for 15-20 minutes and feel that that's enough. And somehow, the time flies different. Usually when I play on my PC for 1-2 hours, I feel like I play like 30 minutes. But when playing on a handheld, it feels other way around. I can play 30 minutes and feel like I played more than this. And I know this is placebo mostly, but it works. So somehow it works. I don't know. I feel like I gamed more, I am more satisfied with my gaming session than usually on my PC. Even though I was playing less time overall, I was getting more out of it. Like those 15-20 minutes that actually mattered. I remember where I left off, what I have to do next. Whereas before, the longer session sometimes felt very blurry. Basically, I'd forget half of what I played on a longer session. So that changes the way you approach games. You just enjoy the time you spend gaming. And even though it's not as powerful as a Steam Deck, I can also play PC games on it. Recently, I started playing Mouse PI for Hire, streaming from my gaming PC to my Retroid Pocket, and I had a blast playing that game anywhere in the house. That game is so fun, it reminds me so much about the old cartoons. And playing something like that on a handheld, it felt completely different. Not because the game changed or the way I play it changed, it felt more relaxed, more focused. Like I was just enjoying for what it is, not just going through it. So I don't think handheld gaming is better because of the hardware it provides. It's because of the experience it creates. It removes distractions, it adds some limitations. It allows you to play your games anywhere. And somehow it makes everything feel more focused, more intentional and more satisfying. And I think that's why the handheld gaming feels different. Not because it's better, but because it creates an experience that will make you feel more satisfied than playing on a PC or a console. So if you like what I'm doing here, consider leaving a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more about how to integrate gaming in your busy lifestyle, and I'm gonna see you on the next video. Bye bye!